Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Hey everybody, this is Out of Darkness into Light, and this is Dave, and we have one of my sidekicks, Johnny Galvin. So anyway, Johnny and I did this podcast back in late December on backmasking and reverse speech.
We're going to talk about video game esoterica. There's esoteric symbolism all around us. You know, we call Illuminati symbolism. But what you don't hear is that most of the symbolism actually has to do with a goddess figure. Okay? Now, this goddess figure is the most well-known deity in world history. She is more popular than Yahweh. Okay? And so her symbolism is it's like all around you. Moses is the lower form of Yahweh. And that's why it says, you shall be as a god to him, because Yahweh is working right through Moses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why Yahweh used to meet daily with Adam, and communicate.
Yeah.
That's basically his higher self. That's a problematic term for Christians, but, we talked about that recently, because Yahweh has a consort. I said that on a recent podcast. All this is suppressed. Yahweh is going to come to earth. It talks about this in Zechariah 2, and he's going to have a consort. You see that in Psalm 45. But that's an earthly scenario there. But you see the Queen of Israel there. I think she shows up. So God has basically concealed these things. And so I coined a term for her called the Gray Goddess. It's a curse from God, by the way. God works through the Illuminati. He gave us this cursed language to dumb us down, make us stupid. It's all part of the big agenda that has to do with Matthew 17:11, taking away all this knowledge. It's just the golden carrot principle. You said that you wanted to talk about. Oh, by the way, I've never played video games, so he's going to be talking about this, and I'll just be doing color commentary. But the first video you're going to talk about is.
Yeah, Dave? Dave, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
The video game I wanted to talk about today is called PIKMIN. If you look it up, the beginning of PIKMIN started with the code name. It was called Adam and Eve. So weird how we'll make this biblical connection to PIKMIN here. Alright, so no one would suspect that PIKMIN has any weird Illuminati, New World Order information, right? I know what the Pick Truth is. The only reason I would talk about video game PIKMIN is because of July 12th. So there's something really, really strange about this date that I've been showing. It's called the Day of Satan, also known as the Day of Evil. But nobody really knows about it because it's a hidden secret date that I found in reverse back in 2017 as the eclipse was going on, the Great American Eclipse. So in order to have understood July 12th, first I had to use the Mark Ultrasonic Forehead phone, which is a secret phone that nobody knows about. But I got a hold of one in the year 2015, and we actually talked about it on the show for a little bit. But anyway, I had to use this phone in order to understand the secret in reverse. And all the artists that I was reversing, they said to me, get to Nirvana, hear Kurt Cobain, and Nirvana was always my favorite band. So I finally gave Kurt a call during this time of 2017, and what Kurt said to me in my brain, because this is the third earphone. Okay, so something to mention about the phone is that this phone, the Mark Ultrasonic 4 headphone, it unlocks the secret of the third ear. There's a third ear that people don't know about. Dave, you know about the third ear.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do was place this phone call to Kurt Cobain, and he started to tell me that he wasn't a he, he's a she, and that she knows that July 12th is coming, this Big Ben World War III destruction date. So, what Kurt said to me was to keep telling people that July 12th is important, that July 12th is here, that it's for real. And it's okay if I mention that Kurt Cobain is a girl. And so that marked the beginning of the whole July 12th thing, because it never went away. Like, there's all this July 12th symbolism. Someone needed to point out July 12th, and nobody did for years, but it was always there. And we're just waiting. Like, one of these days, one of you people is going to understand that it's July 12th. And for those who don't know, like, the secret of July 12th, well, it turns out, well, just look at this picture. I'm going to put a picture on the screen here, and it's going to say 666 days. There are 666 days between the date 9/11 and July 12th, if you count on the secret Friday the 13th on the very week of 9/11. If you look this up, look at the picture on the screen. Alright, so I made this picture myself to prove to anybody who's listening and all that. Like, look at this amazing information here that shows July 12th connected to 9/11. Why isn't anybody talking about this? So that one fact alone of 9/11 and July 12th being connected by Friday the 13th and 666 is probably one of the greatest discoveries of the century. And we'll probably bring this up. We're going to bring this up again because it proves something famous about the number July 12th. There's some people in this world who try to deny the power of July 12th. There's some people trying to deny the power of 666. These are famous numbers. So that's why there's a famous answer here. So as we continue about this topic of PIKMIN, see, the secret here is the really funny part about this is that it's always relevant. Like, July 12th is always relevant. July 12th is the date disco died. July 12th is all of these amazing things, but nobody's seen July 12th until it was really too late. But how do we fit PIKMIN into this? How do we fit PIKMIN into this story about July 12th? You call it like an amazing July 12th finale, because what happened is in the game PIKMIN, the main character, for instance, the main character of PIKMIN, his name is Captain Olimar, but in Japanese, his name would be pronounced Orima, which is the reverse of Mario. So it's Orima, Mario. It's actually a reverse symbolism. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's the proof that there's something hidden in reverse that's been waiting. It's ancient. Like, the information in reverse was waited upon for so long for somebody to finally understand, and it should have been understood a long time ago. Like, this is really funny. I made a video about this earlier, which I titled Advent of the Machine Head, Dawn of the MEOW-MEOW SHAMA, and that's my reverse nickname. My reverse nickname is the MEOW-MEOW SHAMA, because it stands for a person who's using the mark to understand the backwards secrets of reality. And that's what I did. So now that we know that PIKMIN has a secret reverse code symbolism in it, it makes sense then that the game, it was released a month or two, about a month after 9/11, 2001. And okay, so in the game Pikmin, there's rock walls, and we need to use the yellow Pikmin to pick up the bomb rocks to destroy the rock walls. Well, guess what? The Dark Speed showed me that the Dark Speed showed me that the animation of the bomb rocks exploding the walls is actually sampling 9/11 destruction. That it's showing the smoke of 9/11 right there inside the game. That they sampled actual destruction of the Twin Towers in the game Pikmin. That is exactly what I learned in reverse. Isn't that fucked up? So yeah, that's one of the secrets. See, you would never know that if you didn't reverse. Otherwise, you'd have to just assume. You'd have to have a conspiratorial mindset, like you told us, Dave. Like, to have a deep conspiracist mindset, you would already suspect that something like this is true. That a game that comes out a month after 9/11, where you plant bombs in the game to destroy rock walls, it actually is secretly showing what just happened, which the official story of 9/11 is there were no bombs at all. There was 2 planes, and that's it. And so that's that's one secret of Pikmin. You see, because nobody would suspect that that's true, and you have to know it in reverse. Like that's a reverse secret. That's a Orima secret. So and so with that said, the truth is that for every Pikmin fan, there was a lot of pain experienced when we all waited for like 9 years for the third game. So the first Pikmin came out in 2001, which was a month after 9/11, or a month or two after 9/11. The second game came out in 2004, and there were 9 years in between waiting for the third game. And everybody was wondering, like, where the hell is the third game? Where is this third game already? Where's Pikmin 3? And, like, lol. I'm like, honestly, this is the greatest secret, one of the biggest secrets ever, because it actually taught everybody a future secret. It taught everybody something about how just wait for it, July 12th. Because nobody's seen it coming, and nobody could understand until hindsight, all these years later, how important that date really is, and how much they continue to show it, and how long it's been shown, and nobody ever got it, nobody ever pointed it out. It's like, this is the newest thing. Like, see, this is such a weird, crazy answer, because it answers the question of the Antichrist as well, because I learned who the Antichrist is in reverse. I mean, this is a long story. I'd have to, like, tell it all over again.
Nero was what we call the Antichrist figure in Christian eschatology. It's not an accurate term, but Antichrist is a false teacher, and there's more than one of them. It does talk about the Antichrist coming, but it doesn't use the definite article. It only talks about it in First John and 2 John. The definite article is always in the wrong place. So when it warns you about a particular type of heretic, a false teacher, it uses a definite article to refer to this particular type of person. And that person is someone who denies that Jesus came in the flesh and remains in the flesh. That's one of the greatest heresies. I think it warns you about that in 2 John 7. And it uses a different article. It says such a person is the Antichrist. So the doctrine of the Antichrist goes right down the tubes without. And then when it talks about Antichrist coming, it doesn't use a definite article. So it does the opposite. When you use the term Antichrist, it's valuable because it communicates what people believe. You kind of have to come down to their level, you know. The proper biblical term is the beast. Jesus just talked about false prophets. He didn't ever talk about Antichrist.
Well, one of the main enemies in Pikmin is a giant spider called the Arachnorbs, and so nobody would see Pikmin is associated with a giant spider. Like it's just so it makes so much sense because nobody would suspect that it's on the date July 12th that a giant spider comes to kill the world. But this information was known since the 70s. If you take a look at the 1975 film, it's called The Giant Spider Invasion. What you'll see near the end of the movie, about 30 or 45 minutes at the end of the movie, is that is when the giant spiders actually start invading the public. And they make it known, like the people who made the movie, they purposely make it known that the spiders arrive on July 12th. Because if you look at the poster sign, if you look at the background in the movie, they make sure to let you know it. That there's a sign, a huge poster, like a billboard, and it has the name of the carnival on it called Gleason Days. It's like a circus carnival, and it has days written on it. It's July 12, July 13, and July 14. And these 3 days, these are the main major days for an apocalyptic event to happen in the future, and that's now. That's July 12. This information about a giant spider coming to kill the world July 12, this was known for so long, except nobody was talking about it. And so where does Pikmin fit into all this? Well, see, this is the part somebody really doesn't like. Well, okay, so the final boss of Pikmin 2 is actually a huge giant spider. As a Pikmin fan and Pikmin player, you would already know that Pikmin is associated with the giant spider. But to, the audience, they have no idea what Pikmin is. Yeah, so there's a giant spider in there. And the secret here is that fans, they were left with no idea when the new Pikmin would arrive. Like, they didn't know. Like, nobody knew. Except for, obviously, the secret hidden hand and, people associated with the Pikmin project and all that. I mean, we would never know when the new Pikmin would arrive. Imagine completing Pikmin 2 and you fight the giant spider and it's all done, you got all the treasures, and you're like, so when's the next Pikmin game? When's the new Pikmin? It's like, you just fought the giant spider. July 12th. July 12th is the next game. And you guys have no idea. Like, well, isn't that funny? Like, that's like the secret punchline of it all. So I'm told that for sharing this information, it awakens the devil. This information I'm showing you, it proves the day of Satan, because Day Gleason shows that the devil arachnids are coming, the July 12 spiders, and so in reverse, these are called the furries. The furries are nearing. Like, imagine somebody wants to think that Pikmin doesn't contain secrets, or that there's nothing new to learn regarding esoterica and Pikmin, but there is. Like I just told you.
Like I've said in the past, they've created every monster conceivable, and they're going to be released. God's going to allow them to release some of these things. And when the period of chaos comes, and they're going to consume humans, the protective hand's going to be withdrawn.
Yeah, so right. So the Dark Speech told me that there's the evil reason why the code name for Pikmin was Adam and Eve. That the answer, the reasoning is evil. Because there's a secret about how Pikmin Pikmin 2, and I just made a video about this. This is kind of funny. But there's an enemy in Pikmin 2 called the Water Wrath, and it's like humanoid water. Like, it's not really a, like, it's just a really weird enemy. Like, if you look this up online on YouTube and stuff, there's theories about what the Water Wrath even is, because people don't know. We don't even know what it is. The game doesn't even tell us exactly what it is. It's like a mystery of what the hell is this bipedal humanoid water rolling around on wheels. It's like driving a car. And the Dark Speech told me the secret of what it means. And basically it's telling me that the Water Wrath, the creature of the Water Wrath, was actually a drug dealer. That, the reason why only the purple Pikmin can stop the Water Wrath is because the Water Wrath was a drug dealer that we threw, that we planted drugs on. Okay, so this is a really big secret about how Pikmin stands for planting drugs on drug dealers and making drug dealers go to jail to force them to read the story of Adam and Eve and Jesus walking on water. Okay, so this is really funny. This is really funny. Okay, so in Pikmin 2, this enemy the Water Wrath, the reason why purple Pikmin stop it is because it's a big fat purple Pikmin conspiracy. It's because those purple Pikmin stand for the drug dealer's bruises, and it's bruising because they got beat the shit out of. That's actually why. That's why. So I know that these answers annoy people, like drug dealers. Okay, so there's another secret reason about and I made a video about this just really quickly. And it's called the Big Fat Purple Pikmin Conspiracy, and it's about how the Water Wrath actually is it stands for vaccine fluid, and that's why the purple Pikmin have these whiskers on their heads, like they look like combs on like a brush. Those are supposed to be vaccine needles, and the Water Wrath is actually a germ. That's an amoeba. That's like it's like mucus, and that's why in the cave that the Water Wrath enemy is found in, this is the first cave. This is a cave where we meet a new character, the new Pikmin called the Bulbmin, which is an infectious. It's actually an infectious type of Pikmin, which makes sense because that's what the vaccine is for. The vaccination's for the infection, and it causes a sickness. So it's called the parasitic Pikmin, the Bulbmin. So we can see the sharp pointiness of a vaccine needle as the whiskers, and why it would look like a giant booger. That's what the Water Wrath is. It's like a booger. And so it's got these double meaning. This is a double meaning of fighting a vaccine flu, fighting a sickness. That's why we have to fight the Water Wrath. Fighting the Water Wrath is basically infecting a person and showing that a person is infected. And then it's a drug dealer being beaten up. So that's the secret of Pikmin 2. Continuing on the secrets of Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3 was released on July 12, 2013. After 9 years of fans waiting, wondering, when is Pikmin 3 coming? Is this game ever going to be made? Pikmin 3 actually skipped an entire generation of consoles. This is another part of this esoteric secret of July 12 Big Ben. Okay, here it is. So Pikmin 3 released on July 12, 2013, and the launch title for the system that it launched on it was called Zombie U. So there was a zombie game that everybody that got the Wii U was playing. That was the game that it came with. Well, it was 2012. I got the Wii U, and I was playing the zombie game. And on the cover art for the zombie game, what is there? What do you see there? That's the Big Ben. So I'm gonna show you the picture. You can see on the screen there. It's showing Big Ben and July 12th. Because what's the biggest game that Nintendo fan knows that just released on the new system? It's Pikmin 3. Like, holy shit. Fans waited 9 years for this game. It skipped an entire generation of consoles and is now on the Wii U. And the launch title of the Wii U is the zombie game with Big Ben on it. So it's July 12th, Big Ben, right in our faces, and nobody knew it. Like, nobody would ever know that. Now we can see it's July 12th, Big Ben. See that? See how it was July 12th, Big Ben programming? So you can see the case artwork of the game side by side. But the dark speech, in the year 2023, it asked me to finally understand, what does the Bible say backwards? And it took me only a very short time to realize what it was telling me about the Antichrist. The Antichrist is a humanoid duck, a drake. And so it's the devil dog. That's why if you look up a snack treat, a Hostess snack called Devil Dogs, or if you type in Drake's Cakes, you'll see a duck wearing a chef's hat, and it looks like a human, because that is the Antichrist, and nobody would know that, but that's what's in reverse. So in Pikmin 3, the ship name of the new characters in the new game, released on July 12th, 2013, the ship's name is the Drake. So when you play the game, they say Drake. They say the name of the ship over and over again because that's secretly the Antichrist, and that's why in the game there's a part about the rubber ducky. Because in Pikmin 2, there's like a rubber duck as a treasure, and in Pikmin 4, they continue along with this rubber duck motif. Like, they just show rubber ducks constantly. And it's because it's Antichrist programming. There's no other reason that they would continue to show rubber ducks constantly. But that's why. It's because it's showing the Antichrist. So, a final thing about Pikmin 3. Okay, this information I'm about to say is actually so futuristic. Like, nobody would ever just be able to say this in the year that Pikmin was released. Okay, so here it is. It's that July 12th and its connection to disco, the genre disco. Let's see. Alright, so here's the July 12th Pikmin disco connection that proves something really crazy, okay? So on the topic of video games, we can connect the two video games, Pikmin, and this video game called Space Channel 5. It's a Sega Dreamcast video game that came out in the year 1999. And it's about an alien invasion that takes place on a future Earth. And the main character of Space Channel 5 is a news reporter named Ulala. And she... oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Okay, so, nobody would ever suspect that Ulala was, like, actually being sung about by everybody in the entire world. Because when you think about it, what do famous songs say in their music? They say, ooh la la. That's what they're saying in the music. They're saying ooh la la constantly. And so, but who is ooh la la? How could this possibly happen? Well, see, the dark speech showed me ooh la la in the year 2018, and the dark speech told me to keep putting ooh la la in my videos, because they said to me that one day everybody would be able to see how important July 12 and ooh la la is. what ends up happening, this is the weirdest story. So what ends up happening is that it was reported in the news on July 12th in the year 2020 that the famous actor John Travolta, it was reported in the news that his wife passed away. But who was his wife? Apparently, according to the news, that the wife of John Travolta was actually the stage dancer for Ooh La La, Space Channel 5. Like, you just have to look this up. Like, this is really weird. Because what are the odds that John Travolta, who is associated with disco, you look up the movie Saturday Night Fever, or Disco Fever, and disco is associated with the date July 12th. How is it that any of these things is possible? Like this is just like completely scripted. Like, did this actually happen? Like, this makes somebody think there's no way that this actually really just happened, but it did. And so this is why Ooh La La became July 12 girl. So what we're looking at here is a concerted effort to show the date July 12 with Ooh La La, who is a pink-haired space girl. She's a news reporter from outer space. So what is this? How does this fit into Pikmin? Someone's asking, like, can you just fit this into Pikmin already? So here's where Pikmin fits in. All right, so one of the new characters of Pikmin 3, which released on July 12th, she's a pink-haired space captain. So she's the new character named Brittany, and she has pink hair. So it's actually a secret about how a certain pink-haired character would become associated with July 12th. You see how that's such futuristic programming? You see how nobody would be able to just suspect that? Like, how would you ever guess that? I mean, there's other secrets. There's secrets about, like, why is one of the new Pikmin of Pikmin 3 released on July 12? Why is it a rock Pikmin? Like, why does it have to be a gray rock Pikmin? And see, the secret there is how when you play the number 666 backwards, it actually means skeet, 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 and that's referring to, that's a crude term for sperm, for like getting your rocks off. So that's a secret about how. See, this is such a futuristic secret, which is why if you look at the 2017 video put up by the artist Poppy, if you'll see that it was released on July 12. What's the reason, though? So there's a sperm inside this music video, but why? Well, we just said it. The Dark Speed showed me how that's a secret of 666, meaning skeet, skeet, skeet. And this is one of the biggest secrets about drug dealers, that drug dealers have been putting their own sperm inside their clientele edibles and brownies, and that they got found out and they got thrown behind bars. It's so funny. In Pikmin 4, we play as officers. We aren't captains in Pikmin 4. We're officers. And we have a new character named Ochi, who is a dog. He's the canine. And there's a new character in Pikmin 4 called the Leafling. The Leafling looks like a nug, like a weed nug. It looks like marijuana. Okay? If you type in Leafling and then you type in like Oscar the Grouch, literally the Leafling looks like a Muppet. Okay, so if you look at the caves in Pikmin 4 compared to Pikmin 2, in Pikmin 4, it's the first time in the game that you actually see these iron bars. Like, they were never there in other Pikmin games, but now they are in the cave. You'll notice that the caves in Pikmin 4, they look just like the marijuana dispensary pop-up tops. And this is for a reason. This is because secretly what Pikmin is showing is that a drug dealer looks like the Nughead. And the Nughead is actually a drug dealer. The Leafling is... Okay, so in reverse, that one of the dark speech secrets of Pikmin, it told me that the Leafling is a Nughead. It's a drug dealer. And that we're going into the caves and we're pulling the Nugheads out of their hiding holes. It makes a drug dealer get arrested. It means a drug dealer has nowhere to hide because we sent a canine on it named Ochi, and it bit the drug dealer really hard. But then so we made the drug dealer freeze. That's why there's ice Pikmin now. Oh, I'm right. There's an enemy in Pikmin called the Bull Blacks. So this is the first game in Pikmin 4. This is the first game where you can make the Bull Blacks freeze. You say, freeze, blacks, and make that blacks freeze, and there's nothing you can do about it. In the cave areas, you can see these iron bars, and the blacks is there behind bars. So we make the drug dealer get beaten and bit by the dog, and then we force it to freeze. See? And in Pikmin 4, you can use the ice Pikmin to freeze the water. So it's a secret about how we force the drug dealers to read about Jesus walking on water in jail. That's one of the secrets of Pikmin. Yeah, the secret of Pikmin, they told me, the Dark Speech told me that it means drug dealers got drugs planted on them. Drugs they didn't even have. Isn't that hilarious? Because these are the secrets of Pikmin. Like, this is actually true.
Your view is true. You've got it all figured out. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Well, you have to understand that we've talked about recently about Matthew 17:11, and not only do you have massive lost knowledge, but it's being suppressed. So naturally, God is going to do a lot of revealing. You see. And the kind of thing we're talking about here, they're putting it out there, but it's all subtle and esoteric. And it needs an interpreter. There's nobody interpreting it. You have to have knowledge, you see. And the only reason we have this is because the angels actually taught us. They initiated, they came to us, and they wanted to establish relationships with us. And that's the reason that we know. Otherwise, we would be sitting in the dark, too.
One of the things that the Bible said to me in reverse is that it actually mentions that giant spider day called the Gleason Day. It mentions Day Gleason at a specific part in the Bible backwards. In the Bible, there's this part in chapter 7 of the book of Revelation. 144,000, the 12 tribes of Israel, are sealed in their foreheads by God. And so 12,000 from each tribe are named to make up the 144,000. Well, when you play that part backwards, there's 12 things, there's 12 sounds that the voice makes when you listen backwards. Like, imagine listening to something and like, imagine an hour-long file that you're listening to something, but there's this one part in the file that it says the same thing 12 times. Well, it's in reverse of this part in chapter 7 of the book of Revelation, the sealing of the 144,000, that when you play it backwards, 12 times it says, Day Gleason. Turns out I love Gleason, because Day Gleason shows that the devil arachnids are coming, the July 12 spiders. And so, in reverse, these are called the furries. The furries are nearing. And so it turns out, if you look here, on the screen, I'm going to show you, this is my sketchbook from 8th grade. Drawing Pikmin in the art sketchbook, because I had an art class. So what happened was, it was at school that I was looking at Pikmin videos to see if there was any new Pikmin information about the third game. And what happened was, I I ended up seeing a bunch of videos of people's predictions for Pikmin 3. This was in 2007. Like, people were drawing some pretty cool Pikmin ideas. And one of them was a flying Pikmin, a flying pink Pikmin. And I remembered seeing that in 8th grade. And that actually turned out to be true. Like, for Pikmin 3, they released the new Pikmin. They gave 2 new Pikmin. One was the rock Pikmin, the gray rock Pikmin, and then there's the pink Pikmin, the pink flying one. I noticed that it seemed people were drawing other people's ideas like they were their own. Like, now everybody's drawing the pink flying Pikmin because nobody can come up with a better pink Pikmin idea. But that's exactly what motivated me not to share my ideas on the internet when I was in 8th grade. Because I came up with the most original ideas for Pikmin that we've ever seen. And I'm going to explain them a bit right now. And this is actually showing the future. Okay, so if you look closely at my sketchbook, right here, I drew, if you look closely, it's actually a current Pikmin character called Leafling. So I actually drew that. Look at it, look how it's gray. The reason that I drew a gray, shaggy, furry Pikmin is because that's supposed to be its fur, and it's supposed to be able to withstand the cold climate. So it's kind of like an ice Pikmin. Isn't it so funny? Like, that's what I made. And so so just look at it. That's actually a July 12th furry, because see, I drew that waiting for the game, and we didn't know when the game was coming. Like, when is Pikmin 3 finally gonna come? When is it? It's July 12th, see? But what did you learn all these years later? Is that the giant spider comes on July 12th. See that? And what are the giant spiders called? The furries. Yep, so you drew a July 12th furry before you would know, before you ever knew what a July 12th furry was. But you see the secret there? Because I use this headset, the neural headset. And that's the mark, see? So the giant spider is July 12, and there's 666 days between July 12 and 9/11. So that's the secret of the mark, and how I had to use this phone in order to hail the July 12 giant arachnids upon the world. So that's why I use a new name on the internet called the Pikmin Prophet 712, because July 12 it was prophesied. See, July 12, obviously people in the know, they knew that this day would be associated with giant spiders and all of these things, Big Ben getting destroyed and all of that. It was just a matter of time of when it was going to be revealed and shown. That's a final closing part. Because this was actually so predicted. If you take a look at the sketchbook here, you can see that I drew an orange glowing Pikmin, and I drew a green Pikmin holding a stick. And what's so weird about this is that if you look here, there's supposed to be... Okay, so if you look here, there's this supposed 2013... It's this Pikmin concept art. It's actually from Nintendo, and that these are actual Pikmin drawings. And if you look closely, it's according to this information, it's showing that the original glow Pikmin actually was orange and not green. So if you look at my sketchbook, that's what I drew. I drew an orange glowing Pikmin. Specifically, it was meant to illuminate a dark cavern. If you look closely, I actually drew a green Pikmin holding a stick. Now, in Pikmin 4, there's the new green Pikmin. And the objective of using the green Pikmin is to protect something called the luminol, which is a big, huge... I mean, look at it. It looks like a tree, and it's supposed to be a wood. It's like a stick. So I actually drew the green stick Pikmin. See, that's the joke about why is the green Pikmin the glow Pikmin, because it's like a glow stick. So I drew the green Pikmin with the with the stick. See that? That's what we're playing with. If you're playing Pikmin 4, you're playing with the green glow stick. That's what I made. I made the glow stick Pikmin. Isn't that just weird?
God is enabling you to see the color of the flower. You know what I mean? People just take it for granted. All right, John, we can wrap it up, and we can do some more of this later.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Yeah, Dave, thanks so much for having me on to talk about Pikmin for a bit, since it's July 12 and all.